Hello everyone and welcome to my Horror Stories Season 1 Episode 1. My name is Barbos, also known as BSGG Storyteller, and today I will share with you a story that I wrote at this days. A story who has been born from some real life events. I hope you will like it cause it's about two best friends and a doll. Well, not quite an usual normal doll. Sophie was thrilled to receive a gift from her grandmother, a beautiful antique doll that had been in the family for generations. The doll had intricate features and beautiful clothing, and Sophie was eager to add it to her collection. However, something about the doll felt off, and Sophie couldn't quite put her finger on it. As the days passed, Sophie began to notice strange things happening in her house. Objects were moved, and she could hear faint footsteps coming from the attic. She started to feel a presence in the house, and she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. One night, Sophie woke up to find the doll sitting at the end of her bed. Its eyes seemed to follow her as she moved, and its expression was twisted into a sinister grin. Sophie tried to ignore the doll's presence, but she could feel its gaze upon her at all times. The next day, Sophie's best friend, Emily, came over to her house to hang out. As soon as Emily saw the doll, she felt a chill run down her spine. Something about the doll's presence felt off to her, and she couldn't quite explain it. Despite her unease, Emily tried to ignore the doll and focus on spending time with her friend. As the day went on, strange things started happening in the house. Doors slammed shut, and objects were thrown across the room. Sophie and Emily were terrified, and they knew they had to find a way to get rid of the cursed doll. They decided to take the doll to a local antique store to see if they could get any information on its history. The store owner informed them that the doll had been owned by a wealthy family in the 1800s. However, the family had been cursed, and they had all died under mysterious circumstances. Sophie and Emily knew they had to get rid of the doll before it was too late. They decided to bury the doll in a nearby cemetery, hoping that it would break the curse. However, as they were leaving the cemetery, they heard faint whispers and footsteps following them. They knew that the doll's curse had not been lifted, and they were doomed to be haunted by its presence forever. As they returned home, they could feel the doll's malevolent gaze upon them, and they knew that they had made a grave mistake. The cursed doll had claimed them as its new victims, and they would never be free of its presence. As Sophie and Emily tried to go about their daily lives, they could feel the cursed doll's presence haunting them at every turn. They would wake up in the middle of the night to find the doll sitting on their nightstand, its eyes watching them as they slept. The doll seemed to have a life of its own, moving from room to room and wreaking havoc wherever it went. Sophie and Emily tried to get rid of the doll several times, but it always seemed to find its way back to them. One day, as Sophie was sitting in her room, she felt a cold breeze blow through the window. She turned to see the doll standing in the corner of the room, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Sophie tried to scream, but the doll's curse had silenced her. The doll began to move towards her, its limbs contorting in unnatural ways. Sophie was paralyzed with fear as the doll loomed over her, its twisted smile growing wider and wider. Just as Sophie thought it was the end, the doll vanished into thin air. Sophie and Emily knew that they had to find a way to break the doll's curse once and for all. They decided to seek the help of a psychic who specialized in dealing with haunted objects. The psychic agreed to help them, but warned them that breaking the doll's curse would be dangerous and difficult. Together, the three of them performed a ritual to break the curse, but it only seemed to make the doll angrier. The doll's movements became more erratic, and its malevolent gaze more intense. They knew they had to act fast before the doll caused irreparable harm. Finally, they found the answer they had been searching for. The psychic revealed that the only way to break the curse was to destroy the doll. Sophie and Emily knew it was a risky move, but they had no choice. As they set fire to the cursed doll, they could hear it screaming and cursing them. But as the flames consumed the doll, they felt a sense of relief wash over them. The curse had been broken, and they were finally free of the doll's haunting presence. Sophie and Emily learned a valuable lesson about the dangers of collecting cursed objects. They would never forget the horrors they experienced with the cursed doll and vowed to never let their guard down again. Thanks for watching and listening. If you enjoyed this type of content and would like to see more of it, feel free to subscribe and turn on notifications. See you in the next episode, and until that, stay spooky, my friends.